Welcome, everybody. Thank you all so much for being here. I don't know if, can you hear me? There we go. For being here for our third annual Massachusetts Champion Awards. This is a special year for the foundation as we are celebrating our 25th anniversary. The foundation has grown so much. There we go. The foundation has grown so much through the years, from a local Boston support group to the globally recognized leader for brain aneurysm awareness, education, support, advocacy, and research funding. Each year, the foundation has made steady and consistent growth, both financially and with our programs. Some accomplishments of the past year were a newly designed website for better user experience, an educational lecture that was developed for primary care professionals on the early detection and management of brain aneurysms that was presented live in New York and Chicago and is now available online for a year, where it is being viewed globally and is receiving great feedback. Our detection and treatment booklet that are being distributed globally were now translated into the 5th language, which is Arabic. And we continue as the largest private funder of brain aneurysm research by awarding $500,000 to 14 different projects. Last week I had the pleasure of being on Capitol Hill with some of you in this room, with over 100 people from 23 different states raising awareness of brain aneurysms, as well as seeking support for Ellie's Law, which would authorize $5 million for 5 years from NIH and NINDS for brain aneurysm specific research funding. I'm happy to report we have support from both Congressman Lynch and Senator Markey here in Massachusetts. Over the past 25 years, everything BAF has done has begun with awareness. With 1 in 50 people affected by brain aneurysms, equivalent to almost 136,000 people in Massachusetts, 30,000 people a year rupturing, and half of those people dying, there is still so much to be done. So tonight we're here to thank the champions in our community who are working with the foundation to make a change and be a voice for a disease that is ending lives and changing lives forever. As it is the 25th anniversary, this year we're awarding some champions who have more recently made significant impact for the cause, as well as some folks who have been champions through the years. As one of our projects for the year, we are working on a 25th anniversary video to highlight some of the things that the foundation is through the years with some of our supporters and the people that we have worked with. And we have a message here from some of those people who have been part of that video.
Congratulations to the Brain Aneurysm Foundation on 25 years of great work, 25 years of raising awareness, and 25 years of saving people's lives. God bless.
Happy 25th anniversary to the Brain Aneurysm Foundation.
I just want to say happy 25th anniversary to the Brain Aneurysm Foundation.
Happy 25th anniversary to the BAF. I want to wish the Brain Aneurysm Foundation a happy 25th anniversary, with more to come for patients and their families.
Thank you so much to the Brain Aneurysm Foundation for all of the fantastic work it's done for those with brain aneurysms in the past 25 years, myself included.
25 years. Congratulations to the Brain Aneurysm Foundation. You're my favorite. You've done so much to help me, and you've done so much to help others. Continue helping people, raising awareness, and we'll do what we can to help you out.
So folks at Arnold Porter congratulate the Brain Aneurysm Foundation on their 25th anniversary. It's extraordinary the work that you've done, raising over $1 million in this effort in the last 2 years, but more importantly, raising awareness.
Congratulations to the Brain Aneurysm Foundation on 25 years of making a difference and fighting the fight for all of us. And we look forward to many, many more years of being more successful in doing what you do. Thank you.
Congratulations to the Brain Aneurysm Foundation. Oh my God, you have been a blessing in my life, and I don't know where I would be without the Brain Aneurysm Foundation.
Congratulations to the Brain Aneurysm Foundation for 25 years. Thank you for helping my mom and you. and helping everyone that may be like her or in my situation. And it could only go better from here.
Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you for the work that you do for people just like me.
And before we move on, I would just like to take a moment of silence for the lives that have been lost to a brain aneurysm. Thank you. And you'll be happy to hear that I'm not the only one who's going to be stumbling up here tonight. So I'm fortunate now to introduce my co-host, Tom Tinlin, who's a past champion. And I think if we were going to give him a new champion and award this year, it would probably be most likely to be a pit bull champion. So with that, Tom Tinlin.
You won't be the only one bumbling up here tonight, is it? I had a ruptured brain aneurysm. What's your excuse? Hey, I didn't get a parking space out of it, so it is great to be here and participate in this ceremony once again. And it's my real honor to introduce our 2019 Public Official Champion awardee. This gentleman is more than our mayor for the city of Boston. He is my friend. Mayor Walsh has made a career out of giving a voice to the voiceless, not just in his capacity as mayor, but throughout his life as a leader in organized labor, as a state representative, and again, now, of course, as the mayor of the city of Boston. Whether it's substance abuse, education, housing, and of course, healthcare, the mayor is a champion on all causes, not just ours, although ours is probably the best. When I suffered my aneurysm rupture on April 30th of 2017, the mayor immediately called my sister Kelly and offered any assistance at his disposal. How's Heather? How's the kids? What can I do? A question we hear all too much from the people who care about us as survivors, when really there's nothing anybody can do but to wait. When I was released from the hospital, he had a lot of questions, as did I, and he and I learned a lot about brain aneurysms together. We were surprised to learn that 1 in 50 people have an undiagnosed and unruptured brain aneurysm. As Christine talked about, those numbers are staggering. We were surprised to learn that when an aneurysm ruptures every 18 minutes, killing 50% of the people who suffer that rupture in the first 24 hours, and 50% more in the first 30 days. The mayor made it clear that he wanted to do more than listen and wanted to do more than learn, that he wanted to help. And since that day to this, Mayor Walsh has been a staunch advocate in our attempt to raise awareness. He and his team have participated in the Brain Aneurysm Awareness Month by lighting up City Hall red, using social media to push out our message, and to explain why in the details of a brain aneurysm. The mayor participated in our 50-50 night at the TD Garden in an effort to raise awareness and to raise money. This you had to see. So the mayor calls me, he's like, what are you doing? I said, oh, we're doing this 50-50 thing. And he says, I'm not doing anything, you want me to come by? I'm like, yeah, sure, you can come by. So the TD Garden security was like having a heart attack, right? Because there's the mayor in the lobby hawking chances for the 50-50 raffle. So all the security guys at the garden are like trying to do their thing. And finally the mayor says, hey, will you get the hell away from me? People can't get to me. I'm trying to sell chances over here. But through that effort, and in a Bruins game on a Tuesday night, the Brain Aneurysm Foundation raised over $28,000. Thank you, Mr. Mayor. When the mayor learned that we're putting together a golf tournament in September, I was talking to him about it. Less than 20 minutes later, his commissioner of the Parks Department gave me a call and said, hey, the mayor asked me to give you a call. How can we help? I was like, nice of you to call, because here's my list. But and then there's, honestly, those are the big things, right? But it's the small things. It's the phone calls. It's the kindness. It's the friendship. It's his inquisitive nature of learning more and appreciating that the Brain Aneurysm Foundation was founded here in Boston under the leadership of Dr. Ogilvy, the father, and Dee Dee, the mother. But you know, I mean, one August, we were working on a tall ships visit in Boston, and I was on the planning team when I got sick. And so the mayor sees me at the event, in typical form, the phone rings, and so it's on my cell phone, so I'm like, oh, mayor's calling me. So I'm like, hello. He goes, yeah, you look really tired. You're overdoing it. Go home. I was like, oh, all right. So honestly, you know, if you have a cause and you're in need, there is no bigger champion in your corner than this guy. Ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together for our 2019 champion, Mayor Marty Walsh.
Thank you. Thank you, Tom, and I want to give a shout out. The governor was there too for 5 minutes with the 50-50. I raised all the money. I know there's people in the state here. He left. I raised the money, but I want to thank you. It was a fun night. I want to thank Tom and Heather and the kids. And Tom, we've been friends. Tom's been a friend for a long time, and when this happened, it was a shock when he had an aneurysm. And Kelly, his sister Kelly at the time, was working in the Boston Police Department as superintendent. And it was one of those things that's unexpected. And I know I've met a lot of survivors here today, and I know there are some folks in this room that lost loved ones. And I want you to say that we're here. It's important to raise awareness. It's important to have conversations. It's important to make sure, I don't regard myself as a champion, that's what I'm supposed to do, but the other folks that are being recognized, all the honorees tonight, I know there's some survivors on there and a lot of other folks. Thank you for what you do every single day, because this is really important. I'm a cancer survivor, and I had it when I was a kid, and raising awareness on any type of illness, any type of disease, any type of medical condition is so important, because it's important to talk about it. When I had cancer as a kid, I was 7, so I don't really remember. I remember everything about it. One of my nurses is here. I remember everything about it, but you know, you don't realize it till you're older in life. And when you're older in life, you want to have conversations about it, and you want to talk to people that have gone through the same situation. And it makes a big difference. And you want an organization like this organization here tonight to be in existence, to be able to talk to people, talk to family members, and help through different situations, whether you lose a loved one or somebody's surviving and they're trying to make it work, or if somebody has full recovery. So again, I want to commend all of you for being here tonight. I want to thank Christine, the executive director, and I want to congratulate you on 25 years as an organization. It's really, that's an accomplishment in itself. It's not easy to do as an organization, to keep the momentum, because usually when it starts, it has the best of intentions, and then over time, it kind of peters off a bit, and that doesn't happen here. So thank you for that. The people in this room have turned their lives into life-changing trauma into life-saving mission. So thank you for that as well. Thank you for the great work you're doing. Families all across our communities have a story to tell about their experience, and I'm just going to tell you one tonight. We had a police officer in Boston. His name was Dennis Simmons. He died of a brain aneurysm in 2014. He started with an injury in the aftermath of the 2013 marathon bombing. A year later, his aneurysm ruptured. I didn't know his family before that, but I got a chance to know his mom and his dad and his sister, and words don't describe their grief. His dad, when he comes to Boston and they celebrate DJ in different ways, he still wears his badge. He was so proud of his son for being in the gang unit and for being a police officer that actually saved lives. And he was proud of his son for the work that he did on Marathon Monday and that day in 2013. He was their hero, and now he's gone. So this isn't just about saving lives as an individual. It's about saving families and being supportive of families, the work that you do. It's about protecting the entire community from loss. So I want to end and thank the family members here. I want to thank the co-workers here today. I want to thank the people, and a lot of you grew up with someone. I want you to thank them for sharing their experience and talking all along. All I can do, and Tommy thanked me for putting City Hall in red. All I can do is help amplify your voice. And as a mayor of the city of Boston, or even as not the mayor, as a private citizen, that's what my obligation is. Tommy already talked about 1 in 50, Christine mentioned 1 in 50 people have an unruptured brain aneurysm. Well, Tommy might have said that. That means that in the city of Boston, that's 14,000 people alone. When you think of the magnitude of that, as a mayor, it concerns me, and as a governor, I know it concerns the governor, and as Washington, it should concern Washington. So everything that we can do to be helpful, we will. I am truly honored to be recognized tonight. I really don't deserve this. I got this because Tommy Tinlin put my name up for it. Which means now all of that I've done allegedly to help, and I did do that, it just means I have to amplify what I do. So thank you very much, Tom.
Right here, please.
Thank you.
I'm gonna get a slice of pizza right now.
The mayor said he's going to get a slice of pizza now and listen. So, how about a nice round of applause again for our friend the mayor, huh? Our next awardee is for the Community Partner Champion Award. And this year, it goes to the Secretary of Transportation, Stephanie Pollock, and the entire Massachusetts Department of Transportation. How about a nice round of applause for them? And I do want to acknowledge, I'm not sure if Christine did, but I do want to acknowledge our friends at Massport who were gracious enough to underwrite the cost of this event tonight. And I know some of the Massport team are here, so how about a nice round of applause for them? We have Joelle over here. So Christine and I had a chance to arrange a photo op earlier today with, actually right before there, and then she Ubered up from 10 Park Plaza and I walked. She wouldn't let me in the car with her. MassDOT Secretary Pollock early this evening so that she could, she apologizes that she can't be here tonight, but she is in observation of her faith, which is one of the things I admire so greatly about her, one of the many things. But as many as you know, may know, I was serving with Secretary Pollock at MassDOT when my brain aneurysm ruptured. And on more than one occasion, I awoke in the hospital to find the Secretary of Transportation, who has one or two more important things to do, just sitting beside my bed, just quietly, waiting for me to wake. And when I did, we would talk. And we never talked about work. We talked about life, we talked about family, we talked about children, we talked about what's important. She came to my home and we discussed my future. And when I told her that I needed to simplify my life, that I just couldn't not, in good conscience, go back to the job I loved and serve with the people I served with, she was fully supportive of that. As difficult, at least she pretended it was, that I wouldn't be working with her anymore. But she also supports the Brain Aneurysm Foundation to raise awareness. And she's given us billboard space. I know we have some of the renderings around here. Statewide, we get billboard space to send our message out to people who otherwise would not see it. Every year, to show her support, as the mayor works with our other great partner, Governor Baker, she lights the Zachem Bridge in Boston, the Burns Bridge in Worcester, as well as the Government Center T Station and the iconic South Station red to raise awareness for brain aneurysms as well. The MassDOT team, and the gentleman that you're going to hear from and accept the award on behalf of MassDOT, they put a team in the Arterial Challenge, which is May 5th this year, over at Fenway Park, and they continue to support us in all of our endeavors. The MassDOT brain aneurysm exposure sadly didn't end with me. They lost one of their brightest stars when another member of the MassDOT family suffered a rupture. She fought the good fight, but as we know, the odds of survival are not good. Nikki Tischler passed away from her brain aneurysm just over a year ago on March 25th of 2018. And to know Nikki, she was, when you saw her come in your office, you couldn't help but go, oh, because it was like, and, like a million things going on. And she was, if you could just build a public servant, 9 times out of 10, that public servant would be Nikki Tischler, and we miss her greatly. So you see, Secretary Pollock and our friends at MassDOT understand how important awareness is. And we thank them for their support. We mourn with them. We thank them for their friendship and for their love. And to accept the award on behalf of the entire MassDOT family is Undersecretary Scott Bosworth.
Thank you very much. I'm actually a little confused because I thought I was here to, as the 2018 Arterial Challenge champion.
In your age group.
Wrong.
I know, you
Wrong.
won, you won, all right.
Wrong. No, but honestly.
A trophy.
Honestly. No, honestly. Thank you very much for having me here. I would like to start by saying very quickly, our mayor, who's here still, I've been, in government service or serving government for over 30 years. And this is a mayor, an elected official, who uses the power of his office for every cause that is meaningful to his constituents, the people of the Commonwealth, and and mankind in general. And I just think that he's very humble, but honestly, many politicians just use the office for, for their issues and things. But this gentleman goes out of his way each and every day to fight causes that are important to all of us. So I want to just thank him as well. But I do want to thank you. I'm so proud to be here on behalf of Secretary Pollack and the family at MassDOT. And we are so happy to have a group of our MassDOT officials here. As Tom mentioned, our world was shocked a couple of years back. Like many things, you're not really aware until, unfortunately, your world gets shocked like it did for us. And, two very big personalities within our family, had an issue. And two people we care about so very, very much each and every day. And I can't tell you how much it means to us that we have Tom now helping us and teaching us and helping us become the advocates that we should be. We do what we can, right? We're an agency that, we provide transportation, but we have billboards and we have bridges and we have voices. And, I'm proud that the Secretary has our district highway directors thinking about this now and making sure that any opportunity we have to get the word out there, we do it. But I think, as the mayor said, after the shock and awe is gone, it's important that you stay on message, you stay, because these billboards, they're not a big deal, but thousands and hundreds of thousands of people see them and make them think. Get tested, go out, ask your doctor, you have symptoms, go out and find out. So I personally am extremely proud to be part of an organization that will lend what it has, no matter what it is, to help a cause, and particularly this cause, because this gentleman right here, it means so much to our MassDOT family. And I thank you on behalf of Secretary Pollack, Commonwealth of Massachusetts, for recognizing us for the little we do, but it's really you that does the meaningful work, and keep us on it. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
So our next awardee is the Boston Bruins Foundation. And our partnership with the Boston Bruins and the Boston Bruins Foundation was born out of the Brain Aneurysm Foundation's relationship with Boston Bruins. How many times did I just say Boston Bruins? Boston Bruins defenseman Kevin Miller. Kevin has lent his voice, his likeness, his personality to the foundation in an effort to raise awareness. Last year, this took the shape with the billboards that Kevin posed with the social media postings that he has done, with the PSAs that he has also done. But those are only as good as the medium in which we can get them out. So with our partnership with the Boston Bruins Foundation, they were gracious enough to play Kevin's message on the Jumbotron at appropriate times and breaks of play. They are the ones that open up their doors for the 50-50 raffle for us, and were so gracious with their staff and their time and their patience with Christine. Oh, good. Yeah, next, you can say anything you want. But also, frankly, with their commitment to community. So this year, Kevin approached another friend of the foundation and former Boston Bruin, the executive director of the Boston Bruins Foundation, Bob Sweeney, to inquire about that partnership. And it was through that efforts, and I don't know how familiar you all are, you see these athletes and they have the colors that they wear in a game, but not the game jersey itself. And due to the intervention of Bob Sweeney and others, the Jacobs family and the NHL said, no, absolutely, we're the spoke to be. You know, we're the actual team shirt. So Christine dragged Kevin around to various things that were lit red. Thanks again, Mayor, and had his picture taken. So, you know, again, as we continue to raise awareness, it's great to have different audiences in which we can do that. And Bob Sweeney, the executive director of the Bruins Foundation, had a family commitment tonight, but he was kind enough to send somebody who we wanted anyways, Leandra Murphy, who is actually the worker bee behind everything good that happens out of the Boston Bruins Foundation. So Leandra Murphy, ladies and gentlemen, the Boston Bruins Foundation.
Hi, everyone. On behalf of the Boston Bruins Foundation, thank you very much for this award. It's an honor. We do a lot of work in the community, and it's really an honor to work with you guys. This season, we had the opportunity to host the Brain Aneurysm Foundation at the Garden during a 50-50, which they brought the mayor and the governor, which did cause the security to flip out. I've never seen anything like it. There was so much attention around the 50-50, but thank you guys. Thank you very much. Thank you for all the work you do, and thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Awesome. Good job.
Nice job. You're up.
I'm up. You have nothing else to say?
That's it for me.
Thank you, Tom.
Thank you, Christine.
So a big thank you to the first three champions we had were really the people that have stepped up over the past year. In all honesty, that is due to Tom Tinlin. The connections that he's been able to make, the awareness, the education to raise the level of this awareness, not just in this state, but across the country has been amazing. I mean, he doesn't stop every day. He's thinking of a new way to do something, to change something. And like I said, either people love him or they're really scared of him, because it's amazing what he's done for this organization. So now we're going to go to the other side of our champions, of the people that have really been involved with the organization for a really long time. So they all have a special meaning to me and to the organization, just as the prior three champions. So the first champion we're going to talk a little bit about is Kathy Zardes, our survivor champion. Kathy, there you are. We fight all the time about Kathy. There we go. We argue all the time who has the bigger crush on Keith Lockhart. Yeah, you know. She always says it's her, Keith, but whatever, it's okay. And Kevin Miller. I'll give her Keith over Kevin. But anyway, Kathy is someone I've known for almost 13 years, beginning early in her recovery. Kathy is a fighter, someone who never looks back, and who loves to laugh. Kathy has generously helped the foundation grow through the years. She volunteers whenever she can at symposiums, golf tournaments, the Pops, awareness tables. She's aided in many support groups and participates in our Advocacy Day and started her own comedy show fundraiser. Kathy has selflessly given her time to the BAF and shared her story and the hope of helping others for over 13 years. Kathy always has a smile on her face and is ready for whatever comes her way. I've been inspired by Kathy's ability to so generously give back and move forward from her traumatic rupture experience with such grace. Her focus has never been, look what happened to me, but how can I make this not happen to someone else? And if it has, how can I help someone through their own recovery journey? So it is my honor and pleasure to award my now friend, Kathy Zardes, as our 2019 Survivor Champion.
Okay, I'm not good at this, so I'm warning you.
I've seen you at the conference.
Just don't throw any food at me, please. I'll have to wear a hard hat. Thank you so much. I was so honored and grateful and never expected this to happen. But my event was 13 years ago on New Year's Eve, 2005. I was on my way to a New Year's Eve party with friends, and I stopped at my favorite store that no longer exists, Filene's, to pick up an anniversary gift for my parents, whose anniversary was New Year's Day. Thank you, Jen. I made it out of the store with the gift in hand, put it in the trunk of my car, and never made it to the driver's side of the seat of the car. I got a pain that went from one side of my head to the other, and thought, wow, that really hurts. I think I better sit down. I never got the opportunity to do that. I went down, straight out, and apparently had a seizure, so I'm told. I had a gentleman who witnessed the accident in the parking lot, apparently waiting for somebody to come out of the store. Thankfully, all the stars were in line for me that night. I had a ruptured aneurysm with a hemorrhagic stroke and a grade 4 subarachnoid hemorrhage from my tiny aneurysm. The gentleman saw me, called 911 for me, withheld security from coming near me or touching anything that belonged to me, and made sure all of my belongings were together and with me at all times. I was taken to the Melrose Wakefield Hospital, the local community hospital, whose ED staff that night had just received accolades for all of their prime knowledge and treatment of stroke patients. And they were able to diagnose and quickly respond to me with a CAT scan that said I had a ruptured aneurysm. While I was there, my cell phone started singing Old Lang Syne because my friends were looking for me. So when the nurse answered the phone, they were able to find out who I was, and they were able to get in touch with my family. My family got to the hospital to meet me and was told that they may never see me wake up again. So off we went to Mass General Hospital, man's greatest hospital. Unfortunately, on the way in the snow, I had an incident in the ambulance and had to go back to the hospital. So my family got to the emergency room at Mass General before I did, and did not know where I was and was trying to figure it out. My sister was in the front seat of the ambulance having a heart attack and coronary issues because she thought I was in the back of the ambulance going bye-bye, which thankfully I was not because I'm still here. That's the only regret that I have of that night, is that I never got to acknowledge the man who helped me in the parking lot. Even after an ad in the local newspaper, I could not identify who he was. I tried to meet with everybody after the fact, the firemen, the ambulance people, all of the doctors in the emergency room, the doctors at Mass General, including my hero, Dr. Ogilvy, who after 13 years still makes me cry. But I still want world peace. He told my family that everything was going to be okay and that I would be all right, and indeed I am, because I'm still here. My family and my friends picked up a mega stack of obligations that I knew nothing about. I have no idea what happened to me. For 21 days, I was in the neuro ICU unit at Mass General, and two of the stories that I'm told to respond to, relay to you guys repeatedly on all my stories, is first one was in the unit at the Mass General, and I woke up on propofol, so I temporarily woke up, and I had a teddy bear in this arm, and it was a little white teddy bear that my godchild had sent to me from Pennsylvania. I was supposed to be heading down for her first birthday party, which I didn't make, but they sent me up a teddy bear that she built at Build-A-Bear for me. So I had this little white teddy bear in my hand, and I looked over and said, oh, I have a baby girl. She's beautiful. Look at her. And then I had another teddy bear in this arm that was a big brown teddy bear with a UMass hat on its head, because my nephew played for football for the UMass Minutemen at the time, and my brother and his family had given me this teddy bear, and I looked over and said, wow, I don't remember being with a black man. After I realized that I had two babies, and I thought the nurses were trying to kill them and me, I made my sisters take them home and make sure that they were safe. And then I pulled out all of my plugs and cords and pipes and tubes and everything, and ended up in soft restraints. I can't say that, Jim. No, I can't. No, I can't. My father's sitting right there. I can't say that. That's okay. That's not a good thing to say. That's fine. Forget what she said. I lost my streaks. She had to chuck me, see? So my parents were put through a major incident because my mom at the time was on her 4th battle and fight with cancer. So she was battling lymphoma and chemotherapy and would not let them wheel her in the wheelchair to the hospital, the long corridors at Mass General Hospital, and she insisted on walking. So my family was there repeatedly. As soon as I came out of the unit, my friends picked up the slack and gave them a rest by coming in and making themselves there a lot. The next place I went was, after a week out of the unit and on the floor, I went to Spalding Rehab. And I was there for a week. The Spalding Rehab, when I got there, they asked me to sign myself in, which I couldn't do. It took me a very long time to complete a sentence. And the neuropsych person at Spalding said to my sisters, she's going to be here a long time. She's going to be here 9 months. And my sister, Judy, said, no, she's not. She's not until now. No, she's not. I was determined to get out of there. I had places to go. I had people to see. I had Celtics games to go to. I had tickets sitting waiting for me at home. And I had a class to complete. I was in the middle of a master's program at the time at Framingham State. I missed registration, but thankfully the professor I had prior to that was nice enough to write the letter to the, push the registration department to get me to allow, for them to allow me a late registration. So I missed the first couple of classes, but my sisters went with me after that, drove me because I couldn't drive, because they drove me everywhere, forever and ever and ever and ever. They got a free class out of the deal, but I actually made graduation on time. If I had not made that class, I would have had to wait 2 years for that class to be offered again. So it would have postponed my graduation for 2 years, which was not a nice thing. After that, we got involved with the foundation, and Dee and Chris became wonderful friends that I'm so happy I know, as well as Katie and Martha and Kathy and Debbie and all of the members of the foundation. I have to thank them for everything that they do for us. They helped my family get on the right track as far as what needed to be done and where they could go to find the resources that were needed. I still knew nothing that was going on, but that's okay. Better than that you don't know, because you can't get hurt. The other story that I'm meant to tell a lot is my favorite professional football player, which happened to be Mr. Teddy Bruschi, had his incident a couple of years before my aneurysm, and he had been at Spalding, and so now he was very progressively recruiting finances for funding for the new Spalding Rehab in Cambridge. So his picture was on Spalding News channel the whole time. They have their own channel. He was on it constantly, from head to toe. In the morning, I woke up to see Teddy. At night, I went to bed seeing Teddy. And I was very happy. But I insisted on telling everybody that came to see me that I had the Playboy channel, and Teddy Bruschi was on it all the time. And I made them watch. My newest friends after the foundation and everybody involved with the foundation came to become Lenny and Mike Clark from Giggles in Saugus. Lenny Clark, the greatest comedian in the world, the happiest guy in the world, can make anybody laugh at anything. And his brother Lenny, his brother Mike, who runs the Giggles Foundation, the club there. And they've helped me tremendously with the foundation, helping me run my fundraiser, which is Laughter is the Best Medicine. We've had 7 successful years, soon to be 8. So October 19th, if you're busy, cancel your plans because you're coming. The foundation has been able to, they bend over backwards for us. They accommodate anything I ask. They give me the comedians that I ask for. They have no qualms, nothing at all. They do anything I ask them to do, and I so appreciate that. As much as my family and friends who unprohibitedly helped me. And I did name myself an event seller before somebody else could do it for me, because I kind of don't take anything from anybody, and they have to do what I tell them, and that's it. Oh well, we learn something new every year, and it seems like we always find one thing we find a way to do it better next year, and it turns out to be just fine and dandy, and everybody has a great time, and we raise an increasing amount of money every year. So I have to thank everybody who helps me with the foundation for coming and putting up with me, and for all you do, including going to Washington every year, which we missed the past couple of years, but it's another thing that is an unbelievable amount of knowledge that you can bring in, and a different effect on how you look at the world by seeing people going in front of the government to help us where we need to be helped. And that's with awareness and raising money and not putting a big no in front of us, because we don't take no for an answer. Thank you very much. I so appreciate your help. It's okay.
Great, this is great. Good. Thank you. Thank you. You shadow box on me.
Thank you. Thanks. Good job.
Thank you, Kathy. Now we're going to move on to our caregiver champion, Scott Campbell. Scott Campbell I've known for a long time too, over 13 years. And Scott is honestly one of the finest people I have had the pleasure to know. His compassion for his wife, Cheryl, is beyond compare. Scott has never wavered in his support of Cheryl in any way. The stat that we've heard a lot tonight is that 1 in 50 people have a brain aneurysm. But with that one person, there are many other direct connections, such as a spouse and 3 children. Cheryl was the one, Scott, Erin, Michael, and Megan were the 4 that most don't even think about. The role of a caregiver is unimaginable. Just like the patient, a caregiver's life is changed in an instant. Scott, in a second, had his life changed forever, and he had to rally quickly. He had to, in a very short time, learn how to balance life with his wife in the hospital and rehab, 3 school-aged children, work, maintaining a home, visiting his wife and advocating for her best care, and remodeling a house before Cheryl could come home, and the list goes on. Scott started bringing Cheryl to support groups as soon as he could and became an integral part of the Brain Aneurysm Foundation in every way with Cheryl, and ultimately became a board member, which he still is today. Scott has been part of fundraisers, shared his and Cheryl's story any chance he could, and has been a faithful Advocacy Day participant and has advocated for Cheryl to try any and all devices that could help her with her mobility. The most amazing part is through the many years that I have known and worked with Scott, I've never seen Scott without a smile. I've never heard him complain. He quietly takes care of business and proudly rejoices in Cheryl's every accomplishment and milestone. Scott is the ultimate example of strength, goodness, and what true love looks like. Scott, you are amazing, as is Cheryl, and it's my honor and pleasure to award you, Scott Campbell, as our 2019 Caregiver Champion. You make me cry.
How do I follow up that? Right? So caregiver, you know, so wow, you know, when that hits you that day, you have no idea what's in front of you. So I thought a lot over the last couple of days, all the stories that I could tell, right? So it's been almost 14 years now. So if I do the math, a little over 5,000 days. So I'm going to start at day 1, work my way up through. So everybody get a drink. It's going to be a long night. No, seriously. So like Christine said, you know, having that thrust at you out of the blue, having no idea really what a brain aneurysm was, thinking she's in the hospital, she'll be home in a couple of days. Weeks go by, and I remember it was a nurse in the neuro ICU, probably a week into this, that I think saw what I was going through and pulled me aside, and she says, I just need to tell you something. You need to put everything on hold for the next at least 6 months. She's not going to be home for that length of time. So a lot of things changed at that point, right? So a lot of help, a lot of support. Cheryl's family, my family. There's a few of them sitting at a table over there. If we brought the whole family, we would have needed a much bigger room. But we got a few there. A few of the boys from Natick there that were a big help and support throughout the event. Good friend of mine, Dave, I know spent many nights sitting with Cheryl over at Spalding Rehab throughout this event to give me a night off. So a lot of things happen, right? So now I'm starting to learn everything I can about brain aneurysms. Foundation helped me out with that. Dealing with doctors, dealing with nurses. Most of those interactions really good, some of them not so good. Some of them glad that I'm gone now, I bet, after some of the conversations we've had. But you really do have to advocate. And then in addition to that, there's all the things I've had to learn. So I've had to learn how to cook. I've had to learn how to clean the house. I've had to learn how to do laundry. I don't know why they don't make washing machines bigger and why you got to do multiple loads of laundry. So, but I'm starting to figure that stuff out now. I had to learn, like she said, to put hardwood floors in the house with some friends over there because Cheryl couldn't come home with carpets in the house. So all these things that you had to go through. So I've learned a lot through the years. I was just telling Dr. Ogilvy a little while ago when we were down in DC last week, they were relying on me to explain to some of the legal aides down there what a brain aneurysm was, and I had to start it by saying I'm not a doctor, but I've learned enough about them that I can sometimes sound like a doctor when I explain the process and what a brain aneurysm is. So then I started to think, so how did we get into this situation, right? So I thought a lot about that. And this is why we're all here, it's all about the awareness, right? So I started thinking about it, and in Cheryl's case, it's pretty typical to some of the other stories you hear. Cheryl was 46 years old. We had 3 kids, teenagers. Cheryl's working a full-time job. I'm working full-time. She started having some headaches, went to her doctor. The doctors, for some reason, because awareness isn't really where it needed to be, at least not then, it's getting better today. When it's a headache, they seem to start at the bottom stuff, the least, I guess, severe items that they think of. So they told Cheryl that she's got a hectic life. She's 46 years old. Why don't you go get an eye test? I think you might need reading glasses. So Cheryl did that. Months go by, headaches persist. She'd come home from work, have to go lie down, take a nap for the headaches. Back to the doctor, explains to the doctor, have my eyeglasses, still having headaches. Doctor again talked about the hectic lifestyle and advised that she take up yoga, that she needed some relaxation classes. And I don't know how many months later, you know, brain aneurysm rupture and off to the hospital. And Cheryl spent 245 days in the hospital. Skilled care centers, numerous rehab facilities. So when I got connected with the Brain Aneurysm Foundation and I started hearing more about this awareness, I said, if there was more awareness, Cheryl wouldn't be in this situation, the family wouldn't be in this situation. So since that time, we've really dedicated ourselves to the Brain Aneurysm Foundation. As soon as Cheryl could travel again, we've done a number of events, road races, walks, different fundraisers, trips to Washington, D.C., et cetera. We're just committed to it, and I thought a lot about it again over the last couple of days. And really, I think the mission Cheryl and I are on now is that some year, hopefully soon, we can have one of these events where we don't have a survivor champion and we don't need to have a caregiver champion, that we can just wipe all of that stuff right out. On the other hand, on the lighter side, one of the better benefits of this whole process is it's been great for my resume because I've attended events with the governor. I've attended events with congressmen, congresswomen, senators. I've traveled to D.C. now, I don't know, 6 times, Cheryl and I, to attend those events to raise awareness. And now I can check off another box because I'm here with the mayor. So, you know, so as Christine said, you always got to keep a positive outlook and you always look for the good out of stuff. We've made a lot of friends, influenced a lot of people, and hopefully we'll make a lot of changes with brain aneurysm awareness come because we hear those stories far too many times. Thank you.
Tag on. This is great. Oh, this is terrific. Thank you.
Oh, sorry. Thank you.
And Cheryl, shout out to you. Where's Cheryl? Over there. There she is. Dee Dee, you're creeping closer for some reason. I'm not quite sure if you're expecting something. So we're coming to our grand finale here. Dee Dee Buckley, our medical professional champion. So without our final champion of the evening, This is one of the main reasons that we're all here tonight, is Dee Dee is one of the founders of the Brain Aneurysm Foundation 25 years ago. In full disclosure, Dee Dee had no idea what she was getting herself into when she supported a patient who wanted to start the foundation back in 1994. Dee Dee was not thinking strategic plan or budget, but simply doing what she naturally does when she agreed to be a part of starting the foundation, helping and caring and putting others' interests before her own. Dee Dee is a classic old school nurse, compassionate, caring, gentle, soothing, and dedicated. For Dee Dee, nursing was more of her calling rather than a profession. Although Dee Dee did not know what BF would evolve to become, she only knew at the time she was helping one patient in her recovery. And since then, Dee Dee has been by the foundation side every day of the past 25 years. She's been at support groups every month, speaking at symposiums, rewriting educational materials, serving on the board in various roles, fielding questions that come to the foundation from patients and family in need that require a medical background, speaking with families any day and any time of day, attending all events, helping develop strategy, working with other nurses to start support groups, being an integral part of our research grant program and special projects. Without Dee Dee, we would not be here celebrating 25 years in 2019. There would not be over 70 support groups in the United States and Canada. There would not have been $2.7 million in research funding provided by the foundation to 108 projects in the last 12 years. There'd not be an office of 7 people working each day to respond to calls and emails of those that have been newly diagnosed or recently lost a loved one. There would not be education for primary care and ER professionals. Capitol Hill would not be working with us in support of Ellie's Law. September would not be Brain Aneurysm Awareness Month, and the list goes on. So now, I gave my little spiel for my much older sister, and and as one of my neighbors who is not here tonight, who attends a lot of foundation events, she laughs with me when I'm in a corner alone with my neighbor. She's just amazed, and she's like, oh my gosh, everybody just wants to be with Dee Dee and touch Dee Dee. And she said, and I just have fun telling them, oh, I only live 8 houses away and can see Dee Dee whenever I want to. But to give another perspective, as Tom Tinlin mentioned earlier, I do want to bring up the dad of the foundation, Dr. Ogilvie, who was a past champion last year, to also say a few words about Dee Dee.
Thanks very much, Christine. And obviously, I'm going on for about an hour now, but I'll be brief, but hopefully succinct. And I could talk about, you heard the laundry list, the list of the things Dee Dee does for the foundation, and I'm going to speak to her role as it's been with the foundation, but there's an equally long laundry list of things she does at work. And she puts together an educational curriculum every year for our center, and just does a huge amount of work within our institution. The foundation is all her volunteer work, which is like only one other full-time job. So it's really quite incredible. But I would just like for a second to take you back in time when the foundation was started. Dee Dee, it was really a patient in Dee Dee who wanted to make this happen, and Christine has eloquently listed the things that happened because of it. But realize when this started, there really was no internet yet. There was no social media. Deidre and myself knew absolutely nothing about nonprofit work and nonprofit law. But Dee Dee just doggedly stayed at this and taught us all a lot of those things. And realize as a physician treating aneurysms, when I was trained, your job was to fix the little bubble, and then you were done. But medicine's changed a lot, and Dee Dee was like light years ahead of that change. 25 years ago, she knew the future was treating a disease, not just a little bubble in the head. And treating a disease means treating patients, treating their families, treating their extended families, knowing what their daughters wear to their wedding, knowing who their son was messing around with. And these are all details that make us people, make us human beings, and it's how we live in the world. And Dee Dee brings this to life. But with the foundation, she's, as Christine has outlined, has just doggedly continued to support in a very kind and compassionate way the efforts of the foundation. And as the mayor alluded to, foundations go through life changes. there's ebbs and flows. And right now, the foundation is on a huge high over the last 5 to 7 years. But there were days when it wasn't like that. But Dee Dee Buckley is the person who got us through those times and really took it to the next level. So I think that there's no single person, although Scott and others support their patients, support their family members, but there's no one else in this room who is the true champion of patients, families, and a disease than Dee Dee Buckley. We love you. You stay in the middle.
There we go.
Thank you.
All right.
Thank you. Thank you. Sorry.
Here. Well, thank you so much for that beautiful introduction. Wow. Thank you so much for this great honor tonight. As many of you know, the foundation is near and dear to my heart. It's hard to believe that we are celebrating 25 years. When we started, as Dr. Ogilvy alluded to, we really didn't know what we were getting into. Our goal was really to provide information and support to people with brain aneurysms. That was it. This is a time, as he said, before the internet. But Dr. Ogilvy was very instrumental, really, in writing all the medical literature, and I started the first support group at Mass General. Our lofty goal at the time was to raise funds for research and eventually spread awareness worldwide. I never honestly would expect the achievements we've made today. As Dr. Ogilvy said, the first 10 years of the organization was purely volunteers. We had patients, we had caregivers, we had friends of patients who worked very hard. But with limited resources, we realized it was difficult to take it to the next level. I honestly never thought we would achieve these accomplishments. But we realized, too, we needed a full-time director. So in 2006, took a leap of faith and with very modest funds, hired a director. And that has been the best move ever. Christine Buckley has brought the BAF to new heights and to achievements I never dreamed of 25 years ago. We just returned from lobbying in Washington, D.C., and had participants, as she stated, from over 23 states. We met with members of Congress and Senate to promote awareness of brain aneurysms and lobby for federal funding. We also shared stories of loss and recovery in hopes that they would learn that this devastating disease needs more funding. As you've heard tonight, the statistics are frightening. 1 in 50 people have a brain aneurysm. There are 30,000 ruptures every year, and the survival rate remains daunting. 50% of people will die, and of those that remain, a third will do well, a third fair, and a third will live with deficits. And the economic impact is astounding. There's about $150 million in lost wages because the survivor is no longer in the workforce, and the caregiver is having to make lifetime adaptations. So as you hear from Scott and Kathy, the whole family is affected. So the real champions here tonight are all of you in this audience, my patients and my caregivers. Nobody chooses this path. Aneurysms strike without discrimination and at the most inconvenient times. And over my 37-year career as a nurse, I've been so blessed to care for you, share in your struggles and pain, but most importantly, be part of your success. I'm so humbled by this award and also by being part of your lives at such a fragile and vulnerable time. I've learned from each of you what courage, strength, and perseverance is all about by being part of your journeys. I have delighted in watching your families grow and the fact that many of the children of those affected have chosen healthcare as careers. I've seen lifelong friendships develop from the support groups, but the greatest gift from my vocation as a nurse is seeing the good in humankind. the true love, understanding, and trust people have at the darkest moments, and the bond amongst the aneurysm community that is unique and everlasting. I also need to give a special thanks to Dr. Ogilvy and Thomas, who are the heroes to so many people in this room. Their surgical skills and clinical expertise is the best ever. I appreciate your mentorship and support that allows me to care. There's a special team at BIDMC, Brain Aneurysm Institute, and we would not be able to function without the dedication and compassion of so many people. There are three ladies I'd like to point out, Terry, Renee, and Becky. Becky, who's here tonight. And she gives each and every day to our patients and makes them feel, gives them a sense of hope when they come into our office. I also would like to thank there's a number of researchers here. And Patricia is our nurse, and Luis, Santiago, George, Mohammed, Alejandro, Koi, and Francile have all been wonderful and always come to our aid when we need any facts about the brain aneurysms. They work it day in and day out to help with basic research, basic science, and clinical studies, and we appreciate that. I also need to thank my family, who's been there from the very beginning. So many of them here tonight. They've been here for the 25 years. Those first 10 years, they were my volunteers at road races. My dad is 88 years old. He's here, and he's parked many a car. And my mom, who's at home, probably baking, but she's always here with me in my heart. But I especially want to thank Christine Buckley, my sister, and the staff for making my dream a reality. And I will leave on this note. St. Mother Teresa said, "I alone cannot change the world, but I can cast a stone across the waters and create many ripples." Thank you for letting me be part of your lives.
Thank you, Dee Dee. It's nice for particularly my staff to see a softer side of a Buckley. There is no crying in the office. So I just want to, again, like Dee Dee said, thank you to everyone in this room. This room is the Brain Aneurysm Foundation. It's everyone here has a part in what we do, and we couldn't do it alone. We couldn't do it without you. Congratulations to all the champions. Seriously, Tom Tinlin, who is like my left, right hand, I don't know, he's everywhere all the time. So for all you do, you've made such a tremendous impact, and you never give up either, and I know it's not easy. Thank you for everything. Thank you again to our sponsor of Massport. You made this night much easier for the foundation to make happen, so we appreciate this, not only the sponsorship, but your support through the year, for being here, for taking part in our events. And I just want to make sure that everyone knows that May 5th is our event at Fenway Park. So I hope to see a lot of you there. It's starting a little later this year. The start time is at 11 o'clock. So again, thank you so much for everyone for participating in this evening, and I hope you have a great weekend. Thank you so much.